Troy Baker, where are you?
Yo, come on, we're gonna make a game.
Well,
Sorry. Oh, dude, that's harsh.
Oh.
I think it's one of the things I love the most about this is really being able to look at every character and every circumstance in a completely different way.
I feel like I've never seen this side of Selena, so it's really cool to get to explore that.
Harvey Dent is a beast. It's almost like looking at a bomb that doesn't have a fuse in it yet.
I didn't think there was any way I was going to be able to be in any other Telltale game because I'd already kind of gotten spoiled on one. And the fact that they had me try to pull this thing off was scary, but it was very cool.
Forget the papers. I want to hear it from you.
I have a tendency to overthink things and overcomplicate things. And so for me, the process is to not have a process. It's to really try to turn your brain off and just be open to the story that we're telling, because it really is different. It's really about not pulling from and paying homage and tipping the hat to previous versions of this, but really trying to come up with your own version.
Yeah, so many people have played Catwoman, and they've all done amazing jobs. So you can walk down that path of looking at their performances and feeling like you'll never live up to it, or you can try to have a fresh take on everything.
And don't forget to change into your suit.
There's so much in between the lines, and there's so much in the character interaction that finding her myself has been really cool.
I like the how offended she is that he thinks she's owned.
I think Harvey Dent is a fairly altruistic person. I think he believes in doing things in an honest way as often as he can, but I think he recognizes the environment that he's in. He knows that Gotham City has some very powerful players, some very dark sides to it, and that he has to be able to manipulate and work those sides in order to achieve his goals. And I wanted the change, if it comes, to be one that is as dramatic as possible. I'm sorry, Bruce. The makeup person is here. Guess she needs to put on my face.
Lately, we've been getting to record with Troy or Travis, which is such a blessing.
Are you saying you don't trust me?
I'm saying I probably shouldn't.
You can live and breathe, and you guys can maybe ad-lib a little bit together. You know, if Troy does a little funny line, you get my chuckle at the beginning of the line.
Do you need another one?
There's those reactions that you don't get outside of an ensemble recording.
I'm always amazed at what Laura can pull off. She makes it look effortless. It's frustrating. Or should Bruce be awkward and she's confident? And then Travis can always kind of push me to a level that's way deeper and way more grounded.
It's so unique in that recording the dialogue based on situational choices is a great challenge for an actor, because it's not a straight through storyline. You have to be able to reset your mind every couple of lines and go, okay, no, based on this choice, how would I react? Okay, based on this choice, how would I react? What happened just before this? And that's very difficult. Recording for a Telltale game is like nothing else out there.
I feel like Batman really does an amazing job of walking that gray line. You don't know if somebody is a villain or a good guy, and players finally get to play as the playboy or the man behind all the masks.
In other games, you never get to see that aspect. You're wearing the cowl, you're driving the car, you're beating up bad guys. You still get to do that in this game, but it's about who Bruce Wayne is after he's decided to become Batman and the tools that he has at his disposal as that billionaire playboy.
How do you want to play this? You're going to wear a mask throughout this game. You just get to choose. Either it's going to be the billionaire or it's going to be the Bat.
I wanted to make a really distinct contrast between Batman scenes and Bruce Wayne scenes to really kind of emphasize the duality between the two characters there.
Come on now, so formal. Call me Bruce.
I grew up watching Batman the Animated Series. It shaped a lot of things that I thought about, like storytelling, how they just do such amazing things with such simple character designs. Batman is he's such a big thing that matters so much to so many people.
Time to go to work.
Writers work with the designers, and eventually that comes to me, and then I work with cinematographers and artists to create the visuals for the game. You have to make sure that the content is not just good in form of being a story, but also in being an interactive thing that the player experiences. It has to be more than just a linear narrative. You have to make sure choices matter and the action scenes are fun and playable.
Bye, Bat.
But in addition, it all weaves in together with the lens of how Bruce Wayne has to deal with all the people in his life and all his responsibilities. I feel like we have created kind of a unique Bruce Wayne that hasn't really been seen before. Because you think about animated series Bruce Wayne, Kevin Conroy plays him really broad and really bright in comparison to the gruff Batman voice. And then there's the Nolan films, That Bruce Wayne, at least in public, plays himself completely frivolous. He swims around in pools with hot ladies to make sure no one would ever think this guy could be Batman.
Enjoy drinking my wine. It's worth more than most of you.
No, he's kidding, everyone.
And we have a new twist that takes some elements from those things and just creates a guy who seems really strong and in control of the situation. He always feels like he's the smartest guy in the room. You can play him however you want to.
Chalk this for me.
You can play him as kind of suave guy, you can play him as isolated loner. We have the whole spectrum of possible Bruce Waynes you've seen in our game as options for the player. Bruce Wayne just being really cool was something that we really wanted to achieve. Like him just leaning up against a pillar, crossing his arm with champagne glass while kind of Harvey Dent just goes, and you're just like, God dang, he's the coolest guy in the room. We wanted to make sure the bat tech seemed plausible, not just absolute fantasy.
Something that's very believable in this universe.
It's me.
We built the bat cave pretty early on. It has a bunch of raised platforms out in a really big cave space with the idea that it can be modular. It has the bat suit and the cowl. It's a lot less of the more recent incarnations of the Batmobile. It's a much more compact, sleek variant.
To begin with, we try to get a 3D wraparound of what we can see, so it's usually top down and side profile. From there, we just model out each side and bring them together and make sure that it all fits.
The special thing about our Batmobile is that it transforms. By day, it's Bruce Wayne's hot red sports car, and by night, it's the Batmobile, allowing Batman to quick change out in the field without having to always go back to the Batcave. It's really helpful for storytelling reasons and for how cool it is reasons.
The whole console of the Batcave is all functional. We don't want to go too fancy. We want to bring the retro feel with a blend of what's new and what's happening.
It can display news, it can analyze hard drives, you can hack things on it, you can pull up information about the city. And Batman has networks of drones that are flying around, so you can create holographic maps of Gotham. It can eavesdrop through walls, it can project holograms so Batman can plan things. Bruce Wayne is a very different person when he's out performing in public for people. And when he goes down to the Batcave, you can see Bruce actually relax. He feels really at home down there, really feels like himself. You can tell this is where he wants to be and what he wants to do.
When you're writing Catwoman for anything, she still has to be Catwoman. We still have to know that that's who this character is. She's iconically Selina Kyle, right? She still has to be sexual, and she still has to be cunning, and she still has to be a criminal. For us, because of the kinds of games we make and the kinds of stories we tell, we can put her in the middle and let the player help shape that.
I think that's one of the most fun things about playing her is that moral gray area that she stands in, because as you're doing the lines, it's fun not to give certain things away or to pretend that you have a different intention than you actually do and the player doesn't know. What does she mean behind this? If I react a certain way, is that going to play into her trap, or is that going to be a couple steps ahead of her now? So,
As I recall, you took something from me too. Hope you're getting some use out of that grappling gun.
I'm more interested in how I can use you.
I think she's the kind of person who is always one of the smartest people in the room, even if she doesn't represent herself that way. And I think that her wheels are always turning, and that's an interesting space, I think, for players to play in when they're playing against this character or with this character.
she's so smart and she's constantly manipulating the conversation. I love that it's something that I've looked at all growing up, Catwoman being this iconic role, and now I get to actually step into those shoes and play such a new version of her.
One day you might actually catch me.
Tonight.
Don't you know not to corner a wild animal? It's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, she's in control, right? And so if she is a more sexual female than other characters, right? And again, that's part of who Catwoman is in canon. Then it's her choice. She's in control of that. It's difficult because I think what people do to subvert female expectations a lot is to take out sexuality from their character to make it sort of more modern, more modern versions of females. I don't always agree with that, right? And so I think the best thing that you can do to subvert some of that sort of femme fatale cliches and tropes is to not make her a mess, is to give her power and competency. And there is the power in having that kind of confidence that can only rival Batman's greatness. And when you're playing as Batman, right, you're a powerful male character. To have like a love interest or a partner or even a villain, an adversary, they need to be equal to you in some way. And I think that she's able to mess with people's minds a little bit better than he is.
What I love about the writing with her is when she actually allows herself to be vulnerable, when she's revealing a little bit more about herself, and you have to wonder as a player, is this honesty or is she still playing me?
I don't have any secrets from you.
You know, I have heard that 1,000 times, but you might be the first to actually mean it.
People who are narcissistic, or they're trying to get something and trying to manipulate you to get something, and they usually show you just a little bit of vulnerability, so you buy it.
Right.
But you don't know, right?
But you don't know. I mean, and that's the beautiful thing about it is some of the lines that we've been doing really do reveal more aspects about her, and it's fun to let that guard down for a moment.
Bye, Bat.
I've been very fortunate to have some very cool characters. Playing people who I've respected and characters that I've grown up with to new characters. This to me is something unique because it's kind of an amalgamation of both of those things. It's something that's incredibly familiar, not only to me, but to culture right now. It's Batman culture specifically is so pervasive. But what we're doing with it is something that hopefully people are finding refreshing and new, not just a spin on something, but really a new revelation of these characters that we've had around for almost 100 years. So for me, there's a huge honor, there's a huge amount of pressure because as a fan, I don't want to mess this up. As a gamer, I don't want to mess this up. And as an actor, I want to do something that moves the character forward in some way. I think that what we've tried to do with the interpretation of these characters is to ground it so deeply in the established lore that you understand from the onset who these people are, but we show you a different side of them so you don't feel like you're playing or seeing a story that's just been rehashed. What I'm trying to do is A, do something that's true to the character, but also do something that, as a gamer and as a nerd, satisfies the agency that I want to have in an experience that Telltale gives. It's something that feels like I'm driving it, and that it doesn't feel like Batman, it feels like my Batman. This is something that I love about the Telltale games, is that it gives you these Sophie's choice decisions to make, not only at the end of every episode, but all the way throughout the episode. That time bar has never been more my enemy in any other Telltale game than it has in this one. And I've really just gone down to the wire as far as making a choice. And it's not when there's been 3 or 4 choices, but when there's been 2. When you choose to either take down Oswald or you take down Harvey, that's a really, really hard choice. For me, I chose to take down Penguin, just because I still believe in Harvey Dent. I still want to believe that he can be redeemed, that he can be saved. So, and I just Spizak drove me crazy. He's so good. I love that Borderlands gets so much love, and I'm fortunate enough to kind of fly around the world and be able to talk to my fellow nerds about these games specifically, and Borderlands is just such a great cult classic. To me, 2 of the greatest bromances that Telltale has ever done has been with Bruce and Harvey. And then, of course, with Reese and Vaughn. Bro. And I love that. I love that you can have that exist within these worlds. It's kind of hard to choose between the 2 of them because I love Hardwick, but I gotta go with my boy Travis. And I think that has kind of influenced a lot of my decisions because it's impossible for me to separate myself from my personal feelings with how I care about Travis and how I care about Harvey Dent. And I love that Telltale gives me the opportunity to exploit that and build upon that too. Because if I didn't have any connection to that, that decision wouldn't be as hard.